Marcus Grant, a seasoned prosecutor with an almost spotless conviction record, thought he had his next case wrapped in a neat bow. The arrest report said it all. A young black woman named Maya Thompson was caught near the scene of a high-profile robbery at an upscale boutique. Witnesses claimed they had seen a woman in dark clothes leaving quickly, and Maya, who happened to be walking home from her evening shift at a law firm, was stopped by police. Marcus had prosecuted dozens of similar cases, and his bias convinced him that Maya fit the profile perfectly. Wrong place, wrong time, and, to him, wrong skin color. When she appeared in court for the first time, her calm confidence unsettled him. She didn't look like someone clinging to innocence desperately. She looked like someone ready for a fight. What Marcus didn't know, and what the entire courtroom would soon find out, was that Maya was not only innocent, but also one of the brightest legal minds in the city, a junior associate at a prestigious firm who was more than capable of defending herself. When the judge asked if Maya needed a public defender, she shocked the courtroom by standing tall and announcing that she would be representing herself. Marcus smirked, assuming arrogance or desperation. He leaned back in his chair, thinking the trial would be a simple win. But Maya's opening remarks hinted at a sharp intellect and unwavering determination. She didn't just proclaim her innocence. She laid out her commitment to dismantling the weak evidence that had been used to charge her. The judge, impressed by her poise, allowed her to proceed. Marcus, however, whispered to his co-counsel that this would be the shortest defense career in history. What he didn't realize was that Maya had spent the last 2 years handling high-profile corporate litigations. She understood evidence procedure and, above all, the subtle games prosecutors played. In her mind, Marcus had already revealed his overconfidence, and she intended to use that arrogance against him. The first day of testimonies brought the boutique's store manager to the stand. He claimed he saw a black woman running away and assumed it was Maya. Marcus pressed the witness with leading questions, painting a picture of certainty. When it was Maya's turn, she walked slowly toward the stand, her tone respectful yet piercing. She asked the manager what time the robbery occurred. He gave a vague answer. She then revealed time-stamped security camera footage from her workplace showing she was still at the office when the robbery happened. The courtroom buzzed as doubt cracked Marcus's case. Marcus objected, flustered, but the judge overruled, noting Maya's evidence was relevant. Maya then asked the manager to describe the exact clothing the robber wore. His stumbling answers betrayed uncertainty. With a steady voice, Maya concluded, "So, what you actually saw was a shadow, not me." The silence that followed left Marcus rattled. He had underestimated her. Marcus relied heavily on the arresting officer's testimony, believing it would seal the case. The officer testified that Maya was nervous when stopped and gave vague answers. Marcus highlighted this as suspicious behavior. But when Maya cross-examined, she dismantled the credibility of the report piece by piece. She asked the officer why no fingerprints, stolen goods, or surveillance tied her to the crime. He admitted there were none. She questioned why she had been detained at all, given she had identification, an alibi, and no criminal record. The officer shifted uncomfortably under her questions. Finally, she pointed out that her nervousness stemmed from being stopped by 3 officers with guns drawn, a context conveniently omitted from the report. The gallery murmured in agreement. Marcus scribbled frantically, realizing his narrative was slipping away. Maya was not only defending herself, she was exposing the flawed system that had so easily labeled her guilty. Maya understood her trial was about more than herself. It was about every assumption people made when they saw someone like her in court. She turned to the jury and began weaving personal narrative into her defense. She told them about being the daughter of a schoolteacher and a veteran, growing up believing in fairness and justice. She highlighted her career as an attorney, emphasizing that her life's work was built on protecting the very laws that now threatened to bury her. Marcus tried to object, claiming her story was irrelevant, but the judge allowed it, acknowledging its importance to the jury's perception of her credibility. For the first time, the jurors leaned forward, listening not to a defendant but to a human being who mirrored their values. Marcus felt his grip loosening. He had entered this case certain of her guilt, but now he found himself questioning his own assumptions. Maya presented her alibi with meticulous care. She called her supervisor to testify that she had been in the office preparing documents until well after the robbery occurred. Time-stamped emails she had sent corroborated the testimony. Marcus tried to argue that she could have slipped out unnoticed, but Maya countered with building access logs showing her keycard entry and exit times. The evidence painted an airtight picture. Still, Marcus pressed on, suggesting that Maya could have had an accomplice. This line of questioning backfired spectacularly when Maya calmly asked, "Mr. Grant, are you suggesting that I masterminded a robbery while working under surveillance in a corporate law office?" The courtroom erupted in laughter, and even the judge cracked a smile. Marcus's argument crumbled, while Maya's composed dismantling of his theories won the jury's trust. As Maya sifted through discovery documents, she noticed inconsistencies in the store's financial records. With surgical precision, she exposed them in court. The boutique had reported significant losses even before the robbery, raising suspicion of internal theft or insurance fraud. She requested additional financial records, which revealed that the manager himself had recently taken out a large personal loan. Under her cross-examination, the manager stumbled, admitting that the store's security cameras had mysteriously malfunctioned only during the robbery. The puzzle pieces fit too neatly. This was a staged crime. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. What began as a case against Maya was turning into a case against the very witnesses he had trusted. For the first time, he saw Maya not as a defendant, but as a formidable attorney uncovering the truth. The jury's perception had shifted entirely. Where Marcus once painted Maya as a suspect, she had become a crusader for justice in their eyes. Marcus tried to recover by calling additional witnesses, but each one fell apart under Maya's steady questioning. She exposed contradictions, inconsistencies, and outright lies. With every cross-examination, Marcus's confidence drained further. During a recess, he stared at Maya across the courtroom and realized that his prejudice had blinded him to her brilliance. She wasn't just defending herself. She was teaching him a lesson about integrity, humility, and truth. That realization didn't erase his duty to prosecute, but it shook the arrogance that had defined his career. For the first time, Marcus prepared for closing arguments knowing he might lose, and that perhaps justice required him to. Maya stood before the jury with measured grace. She reminded them that the case was built on assumptions, not facts. She asked them to imagine what it felt like to walk home after work and suddenly have your freedom stripped away because you fit a description. She reminded them that justice demanded proof, not prejudice. Marcus, in his closing, tried to salvage the state's case, but even his words lacked conviction. He repeated the circumstantial evidence, yet he could feel the jury's skepticism. Maya's eloquence and logic outweighed his practiced arguments. When she concluded by saying, "If the law can wrongfully condemn me, it can wrongfully condemn any of you. Today, you are not just deciding my fate, you are deciding what kind of justice system we live under." The courtroom erupted in quiet applause before the judge silenced them. Her words had pierced their hearts. The jury deliberated for only 2 hours before returning with a unanimous verdict, not guilty. Maya closed her eyes, exhaling deeply, while Marcus bowed his head in quiet acknowledgement of defeat. But what struck him most was not the verdict. It was the way Maya turned to him afterward. She extended her hand and said, "Mr. Grant, thank you for doing your job. I hope next time you'll look beyond assumptions." It wasn't gloating, but grace. Marcus shook her hand, humbled. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed, eager to capture the story of the Black woman who had defended herself and dismantled a flawed case. Maya's name would echo across the city, not as a defendant, but as a symbol of resilience and brilliance. For Marcus, the trial became the most important lesson of his career. Justice isn't about winning, it's about truth. And sometimes, truth comes from the person you least expect.